Hi, today I want to talk to you about hand reading. A topic in itself is interest that people have in learning and reading independently. A possible goal is to know yourself before facing the reading of the hand of others. What is important to know to be autonomous in hand reading? First, you need to learn what the rules are. It is important to have a frame of reference to make sense of hand reading. It is also necessary to know the interpretation of the signs and have the necessary tools to find the essential data. For example, it is necessary to practice with photos to focus on the structure of hand. It is also important to use an hand map, so you can compare the photo of a hand with a map indicating what the main aspects are. The first step is to learn the tools, maps, and to know the rule of palmistry. To make the reading, you need to learn a sequence. First, select the topics to be discussed with the people, the man or the woman. Then you decide which structures to take into consideration. Finally, the interpretation is carried out. Based on the reading sequence, the following are also determined: the main elements, the secondary elements, and the supporting elements that serve to deepen the reading. Hand reading involves a lot of data that must be collected and categorized to reduce its complexity. So the sequence helps us decide above all the order in which these elements are to be considered. What to watch first depends on what you want to know. If you want to know the character of a person, if you want to identify his talent, his skills, if you want to read about the future. Reading the future requires identifying how talents and character will influence each other over time, and with what consequences. Obviously, they are three completely different readings. First, the character that represents the person itself is read. Secondly, we read the talents concerning the aspect, the abilities, which can be developed or not, even if they are present. These readings raises an interesting question. How can these talents be put into action? Finally, the third reading, the most demanding, derives from the two previous ones. It tells us how the person's potential will be managed and how character will affect changes in life. How can we learn the contents necessary to carry out the end reading? We have to get a tool. For example, you can search for videos on YouTube about end reading. The video gives you the opportunity to create your own knowledge based on observation, on the explanation of those who already have this knowledge. These contributions obtained on YouTube are spoken content. Therefore, you must also read a lot. Reading books is important because it allows you to focus more. Reading books helps to have more knowledge on various aspects. For example, there are books that deal with love or work or health. Each text addresses a specific aspect, but there are also books that contain almost everything. You will find that there are several and different interpretations. There is an Indian pastry, a French one, a Chinese one, a Japanese one, even an Italian one. There are customized views by the author, especially the oldest are the most curious. In fact, they base their interpretation on facts that no longer have much sense. And therefore, it is important to understand what is useful. Some interpretations are based on pure superstition. The new has a tendency to better categorize aspects of current interest. An example, for all, is the line of luck or luck line, which is the past. In the past, it was a rare line. It could be interpreted as the ability to work all one's life. Today, the luck line can mean even a retirement income. Very interesting. Another important aspect is to consult a professional palmist. He can give you useful information to self-interpret. So, to get to know yourself better. These are the tips for those who want to learn how to read the line on their own. It is the best to start with yourself, to have an example at hand. I hope these tips have been useful to you. See the video on YouTube where I explain how to do. Bye.